from our county economic development committees of Franklin and Grand Isle, and we're going to have also a presentation on Alberg. And we will be filling a vacancy on the executive committee. So next on the agenda is to go through introductions. So as usual, I'll call out towns, and if you can respond for those representing each town as I call them. Alberg Town.
Alex McCracken, Alberg Town.
Nobody from Alberg Village. Bakersfield.
Irwin from Bakersfield.
Cole from Bakersfield.
Berkshire. Enosburg Falls. Enosburg Town. Fairfax. Fairfield.
Hi, Julia Callan from Fairfield.
Fletcher.
Lori Rupel, Fletcher.
Franklin.
Yvonne Dandran, Town of Franklin.
Georgia.
Kirk Waite.
Grand Isle.
Howard DeMars, Grand Isle.
Highgate.
Jack Pelkey, Highgate.
Isle Lamont. Montgomery. North Hero.
North Hero.
Richford. Sheldon. St. Albans City.
Chip Sawyer, City of St. Albans.
Elizabeth Nance, City of St. Albans.
St. Albans Town. South Hero.
Bob Bierman.
And Peter Zamor. Swanton Town.
Harold Garrett, Swanton Town.
Nicole Draper, Swanton Town.
Swanton Village. And I think that's it. Catherine, you want to go through the staff?
Catherine Dimitrick, Executive Director, and Danielle.
Danielle Turin, NRPC.
I think that's all we have here tonight.
All right. Next is an opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Next is to consider action on the minutes for the January meeting of the commission. Does anybody have a motion they'd like to make?
Peter, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Elizabeth will second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are adopted. And now we turn into the first substantive presentation by Andy Julo from the Lake Champlain Islands Economic Development Corporation.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everybody. I'm Andy Julo. I am the Executive Director for the Lake Champlain Islands Economic Development Corporation. That's one of the 12 regional development corporations in the state. Tim Smith is my counterpart in Franklin County with Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation. Tim may have already been in with his priority projects for the region. You may be aware twice a year now, or we have the option of twice a year, but mandated once a year. RDCs along with RPCs work together, solicit applications for projects that are going on throughout the region, particularly those that might be eligible for grants, score them according to some criteria, rank them from 10 to 1, and send them off to the state for inclusion in the priority project list. NBRC has specific bonus points attached to those lists. So there are definite bonuses for the rankings on that list for NBRC applications. And every once in a while, the state uses them for their internal rankings as well. They did it with CRRP, I'm told. So they do get kind of hijacked by other funding sources to kind of figure out what the priority projects are for each region. So I thought I'd run through the ones that we have standing here in Grand Isle County right now, as of December, when we ranked them last. First, just calling out a couple that did graduate off the list, which we're really happy to have funded and on their way. The first being the Alberg Clubhouse, which is a childcare facility that broke ground about 2 weeks ago. And that is going to be a 60-unit childcare facility that has had a very long funding story, as a lot of these do. You could probably write a novel about each one of these projects and how they kind of came to be. Theirs was very long, very twisty, but so happy that that is happening in Alberg. The other is the North Hero Water Improvement Project. North Hero is a very skinny island, and it has a section of water pipe that is non-redundant because the section of the island is so narrow at that point. The pipe has been rotting away, and unfortunately the pumping station and the village where the economic activity in North Hero, such as it is, takes place, are on the opposite sides of that. And so every time there was a breakage, the village lost water and had to boil water for 24 to 48 hours. So the water board has obtained an entire funding stack and is ready to move on that. So we have graduated that off the list as well. But what is on our list? So starting at the top here, I've got a spreadsheet, but I don't think I'll screen share. It's not all that exciting. I'll just read them to you. First of all is the community wastewater project in South Hero, which I know Greta is involved with as well. And Peter is obviously very involved in. And this is to be a wastewater system for the village area of South Hero, and has been working for a number of years. We've identified as the top priority in the region. South Hero Village really needs it. There's so many places that don't have space for additional wastewater to grow. So many restaurants that are limited in their seating capacity because of this, and housing projects that just can't happen. So that is our top priority. Second was Alberg Village wastewater. Alberg is the only system in the islands right now that has a wastewater for their village district, but it is at capacity. There's a moratorium on additional permits for connecting to that system. It really shouldn't be, and so there's something going on with additional water entering the system, and possibly it may need an expansion, but hopefully there is a root cause that can be identified and abated to allow that system to have greater capacity. So that is our second priority. Third is Grand Isle has just designated a village. Grand Isle has never had a village. They have designated one on Hyde Road. They would like to put in a town green, which would include a new library, would be near their town offices and their fire facility. So we have identified that as our number 3 priority. Fourth is a new purchase across the road by Cider from their current facility. Cider is interested in building kind of a nonprofit center for themselves, potentially for the food shelf, and potentially for other nonprofits or their meal program. Their phase 1 is to get a parking lot in there. They have bought a lot, they've never had a permanent home for their vehicles, and this would give them a place to park the vehicles. They provide transportation to seniors and those with disabilities in the islands, for those who aren't familiar with Cider. That's number 4. Number 5 is pickleball courts at Night Island State Park. Pickleball is really exploding here in the islands. We have a nonprofit, the Island Pickleball Association, that is looking for more space. We have a state park that is really great, but not as utilized as it should be. And so putting those two together will help boost the state park numbers and also provide a pickleball place for folks to go and recreate. Next, we have the Island Arts Barn Venue, which is a beautiful barn, a Homer Night barn in North Hero that was in pretty rough shape. Island Arts has put in a lot of money to restore it. It's beautiful. It is also very noisy. It's on Route 2. The bats love it. It's not well insulated, so at this point, there's more to be done. It's a great art facility for 3 to 4 months out of the year. It's not handicap accessible, so we've made that our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth priority on the list to add ADA compliance, to add that sound absorption, to get the bats out as well. All those improvements that need to be made. Seventh on the list is the South Hero Meeting House, which many of you who may have driven by know as Granny's Attic, which is a business that was in there that no longer is in there. The meeting house dates back to 1816. It is a beautiful building, despite how it looks right now on the outside. It's pretty dilapidated, but it really could be a centerpiece for the village of South Hero. We feel, and a lot of people feel. So restoring that and adding ADA compliance to it is a project that we have endorsed. That is an NBRC project that did get awarded in the last round. Is that what you're going to say, Elizabeth? Yeah. Next on the list is South Alberg has a waterline extension that they are hoping to add about 8 miles of waterline pipe to the southern portion of their island. There's a lot of sulfur, a lot of items in the water that make it unpleasant to drink and potentially dangerous. So they are trying to extend that waterline an additional 8 miles. Ninth on the list is a childcare facility called Turn to Joy, which has two offices, one in South Hero and one in Grand Isle. It is privately owned, so that's been a bit of an obstacle for getting public funding. The South Hero facility is in a very old building with a shingle roof, slate roof that leaks, and there is no insulation in the building. There's some maintenance on the facility and the grounds that is needed. She bought the place in kind of rough shape because it was affordable, and is hoping to get some funding to try to bring it up to that next phase and next level. And then lastly, our courthouse here in Grand Isle has a parking lot that is kind of chaotic and unorganized. They are hoping to get designated spaces within it so that it is very clear where those spaces are, get them paved so that they can maximize parking. That is used for the courthouse, but a lot of the time it's also used for the North Hero House parking and a lot of the village parking, which is limited. So we view that as beneficial to the economy. We have one more coming up that we just found out about that we're hoping to add to the list in spring. That is the Round Barn Apartments, which are housing for low-income housing, for affordable housing for seniors and those with disabilities in Grand Isle. Those are in kind of rough shape. The Round Barn is not ideal for apartments. It's got some structural issues. The Cathedral Square is hoping to completely redo it, rename it Fayward Road Apartments, restore the 24 units capacity, but build new in most where the Round Barn is, and restore the annex facility and bring those up to more of a modern standard. So those are the projects that we have going on. Are there any questions I can answer about those? Covered it.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. I
Thank you,
have to
folks.
say that Andy has done a spectacular job for Grand Isle County. Certainly with respect to the wastewater project that I'm familiar with, he's been really helpful, and it's a great resource for us. And now we go to the counterpart for Franklin County. Carl Watkins, are you going to be providing a presentation?
I can't hear you, Carl. While Carl's figuring out his audio, I'll just let you know that I will be inviting Tim Smith from Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation to an upcoming meeting to talk about the comparable 10 project list for Franklin County. So you'll be getting that same overview for Franklin County. And Carl will be talking about the chamber, which is not exactly the same, but still economic development related.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes, there are some economic development corporations who do partner with the chamber. I believe Lemoyne County does. They're partnered, but we are separate here in Franklin County. Thank you for the opportunity to present. The Franklin County Chamber is really going through a remake of ourselves. We have a new board chair, Jim Schultz, excuse me. A new vice chair, Arlie Young. I'm the new manager, started in October. We really want to focus on providing representation throughout all of Franklin County. We've been heavily focused on St. Albans. We used to be the St. Albans Chamber. So most of the businesses that exist are within St. Albans City. So incorporating the town, Montgomery, your Richfords, you're working more with Enosburg and Swanton. There's conversations about that already that we're having with the Swanton Chamber and the Enosburg Business Development Group. Your Fairfax, your Fairfield. We want to truly represent all of Franklin County, somewhat have an even percentage of businesses throughout the county. Also, we're working with tech centers to provide kind of the liaison between businesses and the volunteers. I know BFA has an Interact Club that we've been working with. We've had a couple conversations with Northwest Career and Technical Center as creating a program that allows volunteers to be able to access businesses, because there's more volunteers than there are businesses in a few of the fields that they have to offer. Another one of our big initiatives is recreating some of the events that we used to have as far as our awards banquet. We used to have a pretty large awards banquet, but not necessarily awards banquet, so to speak, but having a dinner where Franklin County businesses can get together, socialize, talk with each other, mingle, network, but also provide some type of highlight for Franklin County region. So we've been looking into that. But one of our biggest goals is creating those relationships with other municipalities, organizations as yourselves. We want to be a channel of information. We send out a newsletter every week. We don't want it to just be the events calendar, but we truly want to have information for businesses that's relevant to their everyday operations, to changes, planning and development changes, grants, regulations, anything you think of that could be resourceful, not just for small businesses, but for larger businesses as well. So that's kind of where we are right now. And we're kind of getting the word out to everyone. I guess I'll ask if you have any questions. Perfect. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Carl.
And we look forward to more partnerships as we move forward.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is committee reports. I'll start out with the executive committee. We heard a legislative update from Catherine relating to more activity relating to housing, and also an increase in funding for RPCs of 3%. And Catherine talked about going out with others on her staff to various towns to discuss the housing targets that have come down from the state, and there'll be housing targets for each town in our area, and the land use maps. And then finally, we discussed possible candidates for an at-large seat on the executive committee, and we'll be getting to that later in this meeting. Next, finance, Kirk.
We did not meet, though I would say staff have been very busy working through the audit with our new auditor. They've put in many hours. I believe that we got a new draft of the audit just today. We expect that that'll get reviewed. The finance committee will meet within the next week or two, and then we'll be prepared to bring the audit to the full board in March.
Personnel, Bob?
Personnel committee did not meet.
Project review, Harold.
Project review, we did not meet. Emily had only a minor that was taken care of in-house, and I believe she might have gone on vacation during that week, so hopefully she had a very well-deserved vacation.
Plan and policy, Lori?
Right now, we're meeting every other month, so our next meeting will be March.
Okay. Transportation advisory, Harold?
We met and we discussed US 7 North Shared Path Scoping by St. Albans Town. It was a very, very well presented from the presenter from St. Albans Town on what was happening out there. TAC made a few comments on some of the what we thought might be better for, to help that area a little bit. And it was very well received, and it was a great presentation. We also had MVRT management plan update, and that was very well presented. And our last item that we had was our Northwest Regional highlights proposed transportation, which is for 2026. And Kyle went through everything that has been proposed and what's in the pipeline that's coming down and what's in scoping and what may be happening. And there again, very well presented by Catherine's staff and Kyle. And hopefully a lot of these that he presented to us will come to fruition.
Thank you, Harold. Next is Brownsfields Advisory. Megan, is she here?
She is one of our school vacation.
Ah,
You could make it.
okay. Vermont Economic Progress Council, Barbara?
And Barbara also sends her regrets for this evening. They are, but the report in the board packet is really all there is.
Green Mountain Transit, Bob or Catherine?
So for GMT, we kind of reviewed the final recommendations for the potential rural transfer. At this stage, it's really in the hands of the legislature if they want to implement that or any part of that for moving our rural units out of GMT's purview. The other thing we talked about is additional route changes to help, again, get a little bit more efficient, reduce some costs to, again, drive towards the budget goals we have to meet before we go over the cliff.
Healthy Roots Advisory, I guess Marietta is not here either. And finally, the Northwest Regional Foundation, Kirk?
We did meet. We went over our financial report. We also adopted some minor changes to the bylaws. And we had some discussion around our funds transfer policy.
Okay. Next item is to have a presentation on Alberg. I guess, Alex, you're handling that?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, I don't know sort of where this is on the agenda, but I was looking at staff notes that followed the list of the meetings in the agenda packet. So I don't know if we're going to talk about those later or now. I'm trying to pull up the agenda.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so under the transportation section, I noticed that there was planned outreach to community organizations through the Franklin Grand Isle Community Partnerships on building and expanding equitable active transportation project, which is funded through EPA. I just wondered if there was any concerns that funding would be pulled, has been pulled, since it's equity from the federal government.
No confirmation either way, Elizabeth. I will note that we as a staff have gone through our list of federal funds that we do receive or that we had expected to receive and identified which ones that we think are most in danger. This one is definitely on the list of ones that we think are in danger. We have an active grant agreement. We've met all of our deliverables. We have had no formal notice of cancellation of the project at this point. So we are moving forward cautiously, without trying to take on any undue liability that may not get repaid to us, but we are also moving forward with the project, meeting our deliverables and staying on time. So we don't know. We're being cautious and conservative, but we are, we've gotten nothing formal that says this project is canceled. And so because of that, we have an active grant agreement and we're meeting our deliverables.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, I'm familiar with the we don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions about the staff reports? Okay, then Alex, I guess we're ready for you.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Alex McCracken. I'm a select board member for the town of Alberg. I'm very excited to be here with you tonight, sharing some spotlight on our town, which we don't get that often, so we're really excited about it. I do have a PowerPoint presentation I'll share with you guys here real quick. My day job is with the state, so I can't resist a good PowerPoint. Is that coming through all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm a little behind on my Zoom. I've been doing too much Teams. But again, my name is Alex McCracken. I am here representing the town of Alberg and some of the accomplishments that we've been having over the last year, which is really exciting to be able to share with you all. So this year we've done a number of things in our little town. We've started groundbreaking on the Alberg Family Clubhouse facility, as you guys have heard, which we're monumentally excited about. We joined the Northwest Solid Waste District, so we relieved ourselves of operations at the transfer station here in town. We made a number of infrastructure improvements that we're really proud of. Getting ahead of my slides. We have some new and upgraded businesses here in town now. And we've done a couple things that as a board we're really proud of, maintaining free resident access to the Alberg Dunes State Park and doing all of it with a reduced municipal budget for the next fiscal year, which is very exciting with town meeting day right across the corner. So the Alberg Family Clubhouse, as you guys have heard, has been a long-going project. It's been something like 8 years now in the making. And it has been a tremendous effort from volunteers, from partners like the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, from state and federal partners. It has really been kind of a all hands on deck thing for the town of Alberg. And doors are going to open this fall 2025. It will create childcare for 62 children from infant to elementary school aged, and create at least 15 quality jobs for the region. So we're really excited about this, not just for what it'll do to alleviate the lack of childcare for Alberg and the surrounding area, but also as an economic driver for the town. And I've included here a floor map for the construction, which as you can see is going to be actually one of the larger buildings in town when it's completed. So we're really excited about what this is going to mean for the community and for the region at large. Tell your friends we're about to start hiring for an executive director. So we also joined the Northwest Solid Waste District this year, which we're really excited about. We've maintained ownership of the property, but we've leased it to the Northwest Solid Waste District. This comes at a much reduced cost to the town and increased services for residents. It's been a huge hit so far since operations took over in December. So we couldn't be more glad to be doing that. And infrastructure enhancements, we've done over $250,000 in grant funding, over $250,000 in ARPA expenditures. That's a lot for us in a given year. So what you see here is actually the blacktopping that we did over in the town park that we have then created a little ice rink on for residents this year. So it's been a big hit to have that in the town park. We haven't really had much usable park space, and now we have somewhere where we can really encourage people to gather and to come out and engage with the community. And also a big shout out to the Islands Pickleball Association for their help getting that together, because in the summer, this will be a nice multi-use sport area. So some of the things that we've invested in this year, the Alberg Family Clubhouse facility, we put up a new village water tower, the upgrades to the town park, which are ongoing. We've made considerable investments in repairs and modernization of town buildings and provided material support for the town emergency plan, which is also new for us this year. So all in all, it's been a lot of good, solid, steady work to modernize and update what we have here in Alberg and set us up for a sustainable development in the future. Some of the new and expanded businesses we have in town, the Maple Fields up in Four Corners had a huge expansion, which is actually really, really great for us and for all the truckers who come through passing from New York and Canada. Arlene's filling station, if you have not been there yet, I highly recommend their paninis. Absolutely fantastic. They have everything from donuts to soup to coffee to pretty much everything there. It's a great little business owned by some great people. And I also want to shout out the Alberg Community Festivals group, which founded last year before the eclipse and has been putting on events to promote community engagement and bring people out to have fun with their neighbors. And it's been a big success so far with our Oktoberfest in the fall and our upcoming ice rink social event on Saturday, if you can make it out. We continue to provide free access for Alberg residents at the Alberg Dunes State Park for 2025. I feel like this is a really important one just to make sure that we can, get our residents out to that amazing facility. Encourage you all to come too. And again, we reduced the overall budget for the coming year by approximately $40,000, which doesn't feel like that much, but it feels like a huge win for us, especially considering the deficit that we were going into this process with. And we do have additional ARPA funding available. So we're looking at some projects in the future that could really benefit from that. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you for your support, for the staff support, and we look forward to seeing you up in Alberg. And if anyone has any questions, I've included my contact info there, and I'm happy to send this slideshow around. Feel free to reach out anytime. I'm always happy to talk about the work we're doing.
Any questions right now from anyone?
I would have known that Alberg residents get free access to the Alberg Dunes. No offense, Chip, I might have moved to Alberg instead of St. Albans.
There's still time.
Well, no, I'm really, it really is. It's one of my favorite places. I love to go there.
It's really fantastic. And we're lucky that, we're able to do that for our residents. We're doing it out of ARPA funding. It's really been, a wonderful thing for everybody in town.
Yeah, the islands are blessed with that, and the sandbar beach too. Bob?
Yeah, I want to actually give Alex and Alberg a big plus too. They've, over the last 5 to 10 years, they have really turned that town around with what's been going on. It's been fun seeing the next generation come in and really do some improvements. I mean, I'm up there a lot, building a lot of ramps, and I'm seeing what's going on. The extra places to eat, the renovations are going on in the downtown. They're doing a great job.
Thank you, Bob. I can only take partial credit for the last year since I was elected, but I am really happy to see the progress the town's making. I think it's a long time coming, and we're really excited to set ourselves up for sustainable economic growth well into the future. And that also goes out with a thank you to Andy and his organization for the sewage and wastewater, which are big on our priorities next. The wastewater and the water district, rather.
I visited the wastewater project up there about a month ago, and that is a really impressive operation. Okay, any other questions or comments as to Alberg?
I have one comment and one question, if that's all right, Peter.
Sure, yeah, of course.
First, I just want to say that the Alberg Clubhouse Child Care Center, we've talked about it a bunch. This is a project that would have been so easy to quit on so many times over the course of its 8 or 9 year history. The project's old enough that it was one of the projects Taylor Newton worked on while he still worked for NRPC, if any of you remember Taylor. The community that the community and the volunteers who serve on the clubhouse board and their tenacious unwillingness to quit has been, to me, pretty inspiring to finally see this project break ground, because there were so many times it could have all fallen apart. And so I just think that can't be said enough times, how much dedication there was locally toward this project to make it happen. Yes, we did provide assistance, and Greta was hugely instrumental in helping to get some of the funding and keeping things going as well. But without that core local support, there's no way it would have happened. So it's really quite impressive.
I'm so glad to see it happening, and I think it does represent such a huge lift. And it's big things from $1 million USDA grant to little things like our transfer station was giving us the recycling returns for a while. So it's, you know, it really came effort from all levels, and the board that has been engaged with it since far before I joined the project has really just poured blood, sweat, and tears into it. And considering a few months ago, at the end of last year, we were looking at a $150,000 funding gap, and we managed to overcome that last obstacle. It really is heartening.
Yeah, I think that, you know, as easy as late as recently as last fall, this project was still uncertain. So it's really quite amazing. And then my question for you is, Alberg added a town administrator position 2 years ago. And was it 2 years ago, if I remember correctly? And I'm wondering how important you think that has been and will be for the town moving forward in terms of making a difference.
Monumentally important. The difference is night and day. And I did not serve on the board before the town administrator was in their position, and part of it is a credit to the particular individual in that role himself has done extraordinary work. But the amount of burden it's taken off of the select board, and the amount that we are now able to do and focus on as far as strategic planning and decision making for the town, rather than the minutia of running the organization, it has been enormously valuable to kind of move us into, you know, what I've been seeing as a more modern town structure, a more modern town organization. And it's been helpful not just in the running of daily tasks, but in going back and looking through our handbooks and making sure that everything works, and making sure our policies are clear, and making sure that, you know, our staff understands, you know, all of our policies. And, you know, it's been at every level a huge advantage for the town.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Alex. Our last substantive item on the agenda is to consider electing an at-large member to the executive committee. And I will invite any nominations that folks may have. Particularly from anyone on the executive committee, in which we had a
Make a
discussion about
motion
this.
I'd make a motion that we Barbara Murphy.
Is there a second?
Yeah, Bill Irwin seconds.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of Barbara Murphy as an at-large member of the executive committee, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We're down to commissioner announcements.
I did want to know before you move on, Peter, that Barbara did send me an email to confirm that she actually was willing to be nominated and elected, and that it's not a "you're not here, so you get elected" situation.
Any commissioner announcements?
I only have one, Peter, and I know it's a minor thing, but in our town report, both Nicole Draper and myself were not put in as commissioners as representing the town of Swanton.
Okay. Any other commissioner announcements? I guess not. With that, anyone want to make one final motion? We were getting through this in record speed here.
I'll make a motion if we have to, Elizabeth.
I'm just carrying on tradition.
Yeah, no, I meant, because we have nothing else to do.
I'll
Uh,
second that.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next month.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
Harold, can
all.
you stay on a second so I can ask you about your comment about the town report? Because it's listed in mine. Good night, everybody.
I also
Right.
was curious what you were saying, Harold, about us.
I'd like to stay on just to record it for the minutes too.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Nicole and Harold want to stay. We could get to the
Okay.
bottom of your comment.
On the town report, when I was reading the town report, it said commissioners for the town and village of Swanton. It listed Neil Spear and Heidi Richmond, but it did not list Nicole and I, which is not a big deal. But I think Nicole and I put a lot of effort into making sure that we represent our town in every way, shape, or form. And it would have been nice if we'd have been at least listed down on the report that the Northwest Regional Plan put into the town report.
So you are listed on the town report. You're not listed on the village report. Because the
No.
Because this is the weird. Well, I'll have to follow up with the town then, because the report that we sent them, the town report has you and Nicole listed.
If you give me just 1 second, I'm pulling it up. I thought I saw a draft of, and I swore we were
So
on it too.
sorry, that's the village one. I have to get the town one open. So I want to make sure we get this right.
Well, it's not a big deal because.
Well, no, it is a big deal. It's a big deal to me.
No, I know that it got sent. I didn't know maybe it got cut off at the bottom of the page. Because it was in small print.
It should be. Were you looking at your draft, Nicole?
Yeah, I'm still trying to pull it up.
Okay.
Slow internet out on Hog Island.
You're lucky because I was fading in and out, Nicole.
So this is the town report that we shared with the town. And so it's a town report and it has on the side. So
yes,
here, Nicole, and so that's what we gave to the town.
Yes.
So that is what we gave the town. I don't know what happened with what was printed.
Which is it's not a big deal, but I just wanted anybody that would happen to be watching that Nicole and I do represent the town of Swanton, and I wholeheartedly believe that Nicole has her heart in the town of Swanton as I do, and we want people to know that if there's an issue that they can contact either one of us. Correct, Nicole?
Absolutely. And many people do. I just found my draft. Hold on 1 second.
Yes. But it really is not a real big deal. Nicole,
I just want to make sure I was understanding the comment.
So the town put the village report in the town report instead of the town's report.
That would be it.
That would be it. That's why we're not listed. And I just wanted people to know that happen to be watching that if they have an issue in the town, that they can contact either Nicole or myself, and preferably Nicole than
Thanks,
me.
Harold.
But
Well, I'm just
between the
glad
two
we
of
were
us,
able to get to the bottom of it, because when you said that, I like, oh, how did we mess that up? But okay.
Nicole, do you have my telephone number?
Hold on, as my dogs have just gone crazy because they realize there's other people on the line. I don't know that I do, but I'd love to take it from you. And-
Yes, because there's a question I'd like to ask you.
Sure, I can call you after if you'd like. And Catherine, if you could just send me if you could send me a PDF of the report that you sent to the town, I'm gonna make sure that it's just discussed at our organizational meeting in case anybody wants to have a copy of it. I'll have Christina put it on, make sure it gets put on our website.
I will do that. Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you,
right.
Harold, and I'm ready for your phone number when you're ready.
752-7138.
Perfect.
Okay, and thank you, Catherine. I just assumed that it got cut off on the bottom. And they didn't
Nope.
include Nicole or myself as representing the town.
Well, I'm just glad we got to the bottom of it. So it's
Okay.
Thanks for staying after.
Thank you for all you do, Catherine, and thank you for everybody out there that I just we work hard at what we do, and we want to make sure that we're well represented, and people do have an issue, and it's better that they maybe call us in a town issue than we can forward it to you. That's all.
Yeah, and that's and we want to appreciate all you do for us. That's why we want to make sure we get it right and list you in those reports. So, all right, I'll send it off to you, Nicole, and I'll copy you, Harold, just so you'll have the town report.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you
Catherine.
very much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Have a good
Well,
night.
Yeah, good night.
Thanks, everybody else. Good night.